Hope you can hear me. Yeah, I think this is going well. Alright, so it is the 5th of July, July weekend, so we're celebrating our 250th year being a country, which is pretty great. And yeah, so it's been a minute since I've made a chess video, and I'm visiting my dad right now, who actually got me into chess, got me playing chess, and he's been playing a lot of games recently. And this is one that he played a lot earlier today, and I wanted to show it. Um, and he's been experimenting with shall we say, an unorthodox opening, but it seems like it's going pretty well for him. So, unfortunately, I was not able to just import this directly from chess.com, so I had to kind of put these details in here myself. But this is his username, which I Walt760. And I'll just scroll down here so you can see the details. That is supposed to be 10 minutes. I think that says 10 seconds. Anyway, both sides had 10 minutes, 0 increments. Let me see if I can just fix this. That will fix it. That was like 10 seconds to me. It will reload. It won't. That's okay. Okay. Anyway, this is going to be a nice. I'm gonna hide this. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. This is going to be a nice, kind of a miniature game. But anyway, so my dad has the black pieces, and his opponent has the white pieces. Game starts off with, are you nuts? Okay, I really want to hide that. I guess I can't hide that while I'm analyzing. Still trying to figure this out. I can just use the arrows down here. No, I can't because it pops back up. That's fine. Just don't pay attention to this, and it'll be fine. So a standard king's pawn game, just e4, e5, or so it seems. And the typical knight f3. Normally you would see like knight c6, but yeah, this is a good move too. It defends the pawn. With this though, you'll have to be careful about how you're going to develop your bishop. But a lot of times in this particular situation, the bishop will go here. You'll push the pawn. Maybe do this. And so there's this knight move. Pretty standard stuff so far. And this is usually a good idea if the bishop goes to c4. A lot of times you're not really committing to whether you want to push the d pawn, or you can also push the b pawn, hit the bishop, and expand queenside. So this is a good little prep move to support either of those ideas. Just me talking here. Okay, so we see d4, which is a good move because you want to open up. You don't want black to have these 3 center pawns kind of for nothing. So we do see an exchange. And there's this bishop move. It might be better to put the bishop on the diagonal. I'm not sure, but this is a fine move as well, just developing. And so this is kind of really where you start to see the dynamic play of this opening. My dad has been doing this. He's just putting the bishop here and then here, kind of like a rerouting square. And it's caught a lot of people off guard. So, and of course the knight moves. Also could have just developed this bishop, maybe move the knight here. Maybe even move the bishop back and just defend with the queen, but that's a fine move as well. You know, the knight is hit, just move it. But I think the best move probably is just to move the bishop here, defend the knight. But maybe at some point this pawn was hitting, so it didn't feel comfortable. So this is an okay move as well. And we do see the knight developing. Castle from white. And the knight develops through this square. So the knight and the bishop are kind of on somewhat weird squares that they wouldn't be normally. Usually you would have this knight where the bishop is, and the bishop somewhere, maybe on g7 if the pawn is pushed, or one of these dark squares. So it's interesting. And I think black could even consider taking this knight just to double the pawn structure, even though you get you're giving away the black bishop. The pawn structure is kind of ruined, and it kind of does tie this white bishop down in between these two pawns, because if there's this pawn island right here, that's kind of the only thing that can connect them. So it's something to consider. Alright, we do see with e1, obviously trying to break open at some point, possibly deliver a check to the king, just kind of getting active from here. Alright, this knight defends the square, so it's a good move. Could come here to, e5. Could also come to c5, just to hit the bishop. Actually, no, because this knight covers up and bad, so yeah, no. But definitely looking at the square here, putting more pressure on it, more pieces. The only drawback of moving the knight first instead of the bishop is you do lock this bishop in, but this knight will be able to get out of the way soon enough and make space, so it's not that big of a deal for black. And it's interesting that there's some games in this position already. And this move is queen f3. Kind of getting the queen out a little bit, I don't want to say the word early, but it's very vulnerable, because either of these knights really are both looking at the square, and that's just asking for it. And so castles, and the knight for some reason moves back. I'm not sure why. I thought this knight was actually pretty great along this square, kind of blunting the bishop. Probably better was just to develop this bishop to b2 from the knight, but we don't see that. And so now this bishop has to guard this pawn from this one. So it's going to take a little bit before white can move this bishop, and they might have to move this pawn first just to blunt this strong diagonal that black has. But for right now, it seems they have bigger problems, because they've just put their queen out. They blocked it with their knight, which is not a good idea, so it can't go back. And this square is just really asking for it. And we do see that. So the knight is attacking the queen and the bishop. And you look at this position and where can the queen go, really? Because, um, well, let's just see. So this bishop covers all of these squares. The knight hits the queen as well as this square. This knight hits this square and this square. And so the queen only has two options. So I'm not going to get rid of the arrows. There we go. It's been a minute since I've operated this side. So these are the only two options. And it seems like both of them are pretty bad. Which is, yeah, so this is definitely something you don't want to do, is move the queen out and then block it with a piece that was already developed well. And my dad does a pretty good job of capitalizing on that. And so they move the queen here, and I'll give you a few seconds if you can find the move that somewhat finishes off the game from here. I know it's on the screen, but anyway, here it is. Yeah, so this bishop h4, it's hitting the queen, restricting it a lot. It only has this one square, but even that is not going to be good enough, because with this bishop here, this knight here, this knight here, this bishop looking down, this queen looking down, it's just, this whole onslaught is going to be happening on the king side. And so the queen moves have given black enough time to develop and capitalize on white's mistakes here. And we do see it. We see this knight g4. And so this is a double attack. It's hitting the queen, as well as this f2 pawn. And this f2 pawn is generally the weakest pawn for white, as well as, f7 is usually the weakest pawn for black. So the f pawns are very vulnerable, and here it's just very well exploited. But the queen is hit as well, so you can't just defend the f pawn. You have to worry about the queen now. White would like to move this rook back, and maybe get a rook and a pawn from two pieces, but they can't do that because they have to worry about the queen. So the queen does move, and here we have this check, and this hits the rook as well, so it's clearly advantageous for black. And, what do you do here? You've only got two options, right? And again, both of them are just not good. So after king h1, there's a lot of winning moves here. I mean, a lot. Just about everything wins. If you want to be really simple and safe about it, you can take the rook. And after queen takes, just consolidate your advantage. So that's one way. I think my dad found the most accurate way for this particular game, which was to bring the queen out. Throw another piece through fire. This is threatening checkmate. It's also threatening to win the rook for nothing, because there would be no trading the bishop for the rook, because the queen can't sacrifice itself for nothing. So it's those two ideas. And it's only a matter of time here, unfortunately, for white. So there's this, and of course you take, and yeah, the queen is almost trapped in this position, because if you go here, which happened in the game, after this it was game over. The opponent just abandoned the game. But there's also this knight check. And so, no matter where you go, the queen is lost, and soon white's just going to be checkmated. Maybe there was this idea to push the pawn. You could even just sacrifice this bishop. Go for something like this. Check and, you know, do it that way. Probably throw a knight in there, try and make him this square. So that's one way. But yeah, from here, going back, sorry, the only move that White has that doesn't use the queen is here. And even this just looks quite terrible. I mean, you could trade the queens. Let's see what the computer says. I kind of think check might be better, but I'm not sure. So let's see, check. I don't know if you can sacrifice for this or not. Maybe it does work. Let's see. Let's see what the computer says. It really wants to give this a check. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. It's a 9-point advantage is what it's saying. So, very good game. Very good attack. And yeah, it just goes to show you that you don't you don't just need to memorize openings, because if someone plays something that you're not ready for, such as the case here, you won't really know what to do. It comes down to more, you want to be able to think critically about certain positions that happen. And you know, I mean, yeah, it's bad, but at least the queen can move back. So let's see if, instead of castling, if black played really up on this square. That's where they went wrong. But anyway, so that was a good game. And I plugged this into, there's a site called Chess Sigma. And basically it is a reformatting of the chess.com free analysis that you only get like once per day. But with Chess Sigma, you can do it for every single game, as many games as you want to for free. So it's pretty nice. And according to Chess Sigma, my dad played a 2200 rating. His opponent played a 1600 rating. So one of the better games for sure. But well, alrighty, that is it. I hope y'all have a good 4th of July. So I want to make this one a little bit shorter and not so long-winded. But yep. So catch y'all next time.